Welcome into the Stampede. My name is Ryan Jones. Thank you for tuning in, whether it's your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you. I hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm joined by my two colleagues, Nick Romero and Ashton Yanez, the two other football fans here in the Stampede. How you guys doing today?
I'm doing good. How
Fantastic.
about you?
Awesome. And if you can't tell by our screen, today we are fixing the AFC East. Now, for those of you that missed our AFC West fix the roo. I'm gonna say that like it's a real word. For those of you that missed our AFC West fixaroo, what we are going to be doing now for the next week and a half until the day that free agency begins, we are going to be fixing every single team in the NFL, going division by division. Each of us has assigned teams that we are fixing, and we're going to be giving 3 reasons for these teams to achieve their ideal offseason, beginning with me, who I've been assigned the New York Jets. All right. So the Jets went 2-14, missed the playoffs in the year 2020. I would imagine that's going to continue to happen for the next 12 years. But number one, admit you were wrong about Sam Darnold. Draft a quarterback. Look, you have an opportunity to draft one of the big four, whether that is Trevor Lawrence for some reason if the Jaguars don't take him, which is obviously 99.9% going to happen. But you have a chance to take Zach Wilson, a Trey Lance, a Justin Fields. Just admit you were wrong. Trade Darnold away to the Steelers, the Patriots, the Broncos, whoever wants to take on him for a year at least, basically. Admit you were wrong. Look, the best franchise quarterbacks, they overcome adversity. Let's just say that. Deshaun Watson carried the Texans for years. Andrew Luck carried the Colts for years. Joe Burrow, when he was playing last year, carried the Bengals to some wins. The best quarterbacks can carry franchises that are dysfunctional, like the Bengals, the Colts, the Texans. Just admit you were wrong. Sam Darnold's not good enough to do that. Number 2, bring solid players to New York. So what this means basically for me is you need to bring in over Richard Sherman and Jason Verrett, and then they tagged Marcus May, so you have one of the best secondaries in the NFL instantly in your first year. Robert Saleh is one of the best defensive minds in the NFL. If he could somehow lure Richard Sherman and or Jason Verrett the Jets then have one of the best safeties in the NFL and one or two of the best corners in the NFL. Number 3, weapons all along the offense, whether that's offensive line, whether that's wide receiver, tight end, running back. I don't care what you do, but whoever your new quarterback is, assuming you trade away Sam Darnold and draft Zach Wilson or Justin Fields or Trey Lance, they need weapons to succeed. You failed to surround Darnold with talent. You cannot fail again to surround your new franchise quarterback with weapons.
Yeah, I totally agree that they need to bring solid players over. Which is with this, because we don't really know what this offseason is going to bring again with COVID and stuff. If you bring in players that already know solid scheme, it would just be like plug and play. Like you get them and they can just play week one like nothing. You don't really have to teach them nothing. You don't have to give them the playbook. They'll already know what is going on, and then they could teach the other players that haven't been in his scheme. So I think Richard Sherman is like I think he could go there. They have the cap for him, and if he wants to end his career, if he likes Saleh that much, that it'd be a good spot.
Yeah, my favorite thing that you addressed here for the New York Jets, Ryan, is the weapons. I mean, last time I checked, their best player offensively is Frank Gore. And, props to the guy for lasting as long as he has and having the career that he's had in the NFL, especially for his time with the 49ers. But they need guys, no matter who they get at quarterback, whether it's, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, you got to give him a go-to person to throw to. We saw how well Josh Allen thrived just for having Stephon Diggs over one season. And I think that's something that the Jets need to address no matter who they bring at quarterback next year.
Just one more note before we move on to the next team on our list. One, the Jets have $72 million worth of cap, and 2, I really think that if they brought over maybe Juju Smith-Schuster in the wide receiving core, that could really help their new quarterback.
Okay, so next it is me. I have the New England Patriots who missed the playoffs. When's the last time we heard that? They actually have $66.5 million in cap this year. Like that, their highest paid player is going to be Stephon Gilmore, and that's a corner. But their number one need is a quarterback, and they need a long-term quarterback. I mean, you saw they tried Cam. It worked for a little bit, and then I don't know what happened. It just started to go down, hill, and he's not the guy. They're in a weird spot. I believe they're pick 15. Yeah. So you have to bank on a guy falling, or you have to package something and trade up. And something that me and Ryan actually talked about was you could trade away Stephon Gilmore and the 15 pick, and I believe that might be able to get you high enough to snag one of these big four quarterbacks. The number two need, they just need weapons. Their wide receiver core is terrible. I couldn't even name one of their freaking tight ends. And a couple guys I have are like Hunter Henry. They've been linked to him a lot. They've been linked for trades for any, so I think that's like the number one guy. They should really go for that because the Patriots like to use tight ends, as we saw with Gronk. Jonnu Smith too. Kenny Galladay, he did not get tagged. And with the amount of cap that the Patriots do have, they could sign him. Then I went like AJ Green, an old veteran that could come in and contribute. You got Ty and Corey Davis, who I actually like a lot. I think he's like a sneaky good signing that a team could get. Number three is edge rusher. They need defense. Last year their defense was okay. They did have a lot of people opt out. They're gonna get Deontay Hightower back, the McCourty twins back. So it could work out, but edge rusher is a big need. And I have names like Ryan Carrot again, Jadeveon Clowney, Matt Judon, Von Miller, Hassan Reddick.
So you mentioned edge rusher, and with the defense that they run, what you're really going to look for is a hybrid guy that could run either a 4-3 or a 3-4, like a Von Miller or a Hassan Reddick. So I like those guys going to New England. Mac Jones could fall to pick 15, and if he does, I fully expect the Patriots to pick him there. You mentioned weapons. I would love Corey Davis to the New England Patriots. I think he'd fit there really, really well.
Yeah, and I like how you talked about edge rusher too. I didn't even think about it. And really, with the way New England drafts, and it's so weird already seeing them being in this part of the rounds and all that, actually being in the middle rather than the bottom. It's scary to see who they could draft in all of their picks, not just their first round, second round, even their sixth and seventh round guys. They've proven to become Super Bowl champions eventually. So I think regardless of who their quarterback is, you definitely would like to have a solid edge rusher. I think that would definitely complete their defense. We talked about how they have Deontay Hightower, they have the McCourty twins, they have Stephon Gilmore. It's already a good defense. Add a solid edge rusher, and this is a team that can already cause some problems, especially with young quarterbacks that they got to face twice a year.
Just want to really quickly, before we move on to the next team, bring up that trade that you mentioned. We talked about how the Patriots really need to make a move at quarterback, and they might have to trade up for one. The trade we discussed is pick 6 with the Eagles. The Eagles need wide receiver help, and they need corner help. And if they're willing to give Jalen Hurts a year, they can fix their corner need with Stephon Gilmore. I mean, you have Darius Slay and Stephon Gilmore on the same field. That's a nasty secondary. And then at pick 15, you could get a Jalen Waddle or Rashad Bateman. All right, and let's move on to Miami Dolphins, the team that I have going to Miami, 10-6, and unfortunately missed the playoffs with a 10-win season, even with the expanded playoffs when they added a 7th team. First off, let's just get it out of the way. Trade anything and everything for Deshaun Watson. Look, it doesn't matter what or who it is. I don't care who you have to give up or how many draft picks. Even if Tua Tagovailoa develops into the best version of himself, that quarterback is never going to be the quarterback that Deshaun Watson is. He will never be as good as Deshaun Watson, even if he develops into the best version of himself. It may take trading Xavier Howard or Byron Jones or Devontae Parker or Mike Gesicki or all of them for that matter. It doesn't matter. You give everybody away for the franchise quarterback. It is the most important position in football, and the Dolphins would be an instant Super Bowl contender with Deshaun Watson on their team. Number 2, sign or draft a true number 1 receiver. Unfortunately, today, Allen Robinson got tagged. But Kenny Galladay is still on the market, and he is by far and away the best receiver on the market now. Chris Godwin got tagged as well. Otherwise, it would have been Chris Godwin. Go after Kenny Galladay or make a move. If you don't end up trading for Deshaun, you have the number 3 overall pick. Go out, get preferably Jalen Waddle. He's the best receiver in this class in my eyes. Or wait until later in the first round. You have multiple first-round picks. You can get Rashad Bateman. You can get Elijah Moore, Rondale Moore. Look, it doesn't matter. You have $36 million in cap space. Don't be afraid to spend money. You're going to miss your window otherwise if you're the Dolphins. You don't want to miss your window. Number 3, continue to fix the offensive line. Whether you draft a tackle and move left tackle Austin Jackson or right tackle Robert Hunt into guard, or you go out and sign a Richie Incognito or Joe Thuney to solidify the interior of your offensive line. Miami's offensive line was one of the worst in the NFL, or at least the interior-wise. They give up 37 pressures alone just between the 2 of their guards. So there's multiple ways you could fix this. Either draft tackles and move your tackles into guard, or go out and sign some big-name guards, Joe Thuney, Richie Incognito. Other options include drafting Wyatt Davis, Creed Humphreys in the draft, Elijah Vera Tucker, if you have the opportunity to, even taking Penei Sewell at number 3 overall. The Dolphins definitely have a lot of needs, and they're all on offense, as you can clearly see.
So you said that Jalen Waddle was the best. I believe it's Jamar Chase. But that's
Did I say Jalen Waddle?
Yes.
Okay, I meant to say Jamar Chase. Excuse me, I apologize.
Okay. Well, I want to agree with that. I think Jamar Chase could be a cheaper Kenny Galladay. I think he eventually will be better, but right now he could be a cheaper version of him. And Devontae Parker is a good player, but he's like a high-end number 2. He's like a wide receiver 2, but he's a high-end wide receiver 2. But I think that's his spot. So Jamar Chase comes in, he's instantly number 1, and Devontae Parker gets to kind of be like the step down. He doesn't have pressure on him, and I think that could benefit him in the long run.
Yeah, I like how you were saying the Dolphins should get weapons. I mean, they basically need a solid wide receiver number 1. I like Devontae Parker, but he's really, to me, like a really good slot receiver. At times he's won some jump ball battles in the perimeter. But if you can get just another good receiver, especially if you're trying to find ways to acquire Deshaun Watson, we saw how well he did with just Will Fuller with Houston. If you give him just a solid, wide receiver 1, put Devontae Parker in the slot, and then you have your tight end Mike Gesicki, man, that 3 alone could get the Dolphins anywhere they want to offensively, especially if you get Deshaun Watson. But anything could happen with the Dolphins. Anything could happen with Deshaun Watson. But I definitely agree that the priority is getting them a receiver. So now I have the Buffalo Bills, which not only did they win a playoff game for the first time since 1995, they actually won 2 playoff games. And these are my 3 things I feel Buffalo should do in order to be a better team and possibly get into the Super Bowl. Number 1, they need to add more beef to the defensive front 7. Their run defense was awful. As good as this team was overall defensively, as well as just getting into the AFC Championship game, that run defense is really just hurting them a lot. And I think that was one of the reasons why Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, they both had 100 yards catching in the same game before they went to the Super Bowl. Number 2, get a running back that's at least 5'11". I like Zach Moss. I like Singletary. But Josh Allen is clearly the priority guy with the ball, not only in the passing game, but in the run game as well. And so it makes it so easy for these defensive ends to just cheat up and play basically as that fifth or sixth linebacker and just reading Josh Allen because they know it's coming. They feel the quarterback runs because, one, he's mobile. Second, he's 6'3". So if you can get a running back that kind of complements Josh Allen, especially with his ability to throw the ball downfield to Cole Beasley and stuff on Diggs, this offense can easily be just as unstoppable as Kansas City. But I definitely think the run game needs to be assessed. Number 3, you already have a head start with Stephon Diggs from last year's free agency. Keep competing in the arms race in this division. The Jets are going to be going after people. We see how the Dolphins, they might go after Deshaun Watson and get a solid number 1 wide receiver in this draft. We see how New England, how they can get anybody to become a future all-pro player with no matter where they're at in the draft. So don't stop competing in the arms race. It's going to be competitive, but if you want to be back-to-back AFC East champions, that's just what you got to do.
Well, you know how I feel about the Bills needing a running back. I don't think height has anything to do with the fact, but if they could find an elite running back, I get that would make this offense almost unstoppable. You already have
Najee Harris.
It's possibility if you can get a Najee Harris, even a Travis Etienne, who is under 5'11", a Travis Etienne would change this offense. But I don't think it should be the priority. I like you have the bill. Look, you have to be aggressive. Being aggressive wins in life. It wins in business. It wins in football. You saw who's in the Super Bowl. Aggressive Chiefs, aggressive Buccaneers. Keep being aggressive.
Yeah, I love the win the arms race. Yeah, Stephon did that was a big thing, and they can't stop because if they stall, the Patriots have $66 million in cap. They're not going to stall. The Jets have a lot of cap. They're not going to stall. Miami is not going to stall either. Yeah, none of these
72 million.
None of these teams are going to be afraid to spend because they have the money, and so the Bills have to do something. They have to stay ahead. Make the AFC Championship shouldn't be like, oh, we did it. Like, no, the Super Bowl. You guys need to make it, and you guys they're really really close, but they have to be aggressive.
Thank you so much for listening to the Stampede. Whatever platform you're listening on, do yourselves a favor, do us a favor. Please leave a review. All feedback is appreciated. And subscribe so you never miss an episode of the Stampede. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. For Ryan Jones, Ashton Yanez, Nick Romero, we'll see you guys next time.